All right, guys. Good to see you. Good to see most of you out in the field out there today for a few minutes. And was, just very thankful to stand beside a bunch of men today who are standing for the right thing. One of the things that we talk about as an organization is we place a very high value on high character individuals. And, one of the things that high character individuals do is they do the right thing when the right thing is called to do. And I really believe that's what our team is doing right now, standing up for the right thing at the right time. And what we would expect nothing less of these men. So just very thankful for the opportunity to stand with them in this, in this journey. Back to work today on the practice field, it was very focused. It was very good energy on the field. We had a lot of situational work, really good situational work at 4 minute, 2 minute, backed up, not 2 minute, backed up, low red zone, getting ready for the season opener here in a couple weeks. Excited. I feel the excitement in the air. I know the guys are really dialed in. I believe they're dialed in and getting ready for this season opener, and just looking forward to that. If we keep having practices like we did today, we'll be ready and be in good shape.
All right, we'll go Stephen Holder.
Hey, Frank, I know that this is a full team effort and the focus is from everybody, but I'm wondering if you could just speak to Jacoby in particular, and it just seems like a natural leadership role for him. And I know he's talked to you about wanting to duplicate some of the things he's done in Florida, et cetera, up here. Just what have you observed from him and how impressive is it?
He's very impressive. He just has such deep convictions, and he has such good instincts and vision in this area. That's what really impressed me. I mean, this guy, he's got great vision for what needs to be done, and he's got great instincts, and then he's just got unwavering conviction, and we all see that. And so he's a natural leader in this area. As you said, Stephen, there's a lot of, there's a handful of really strong leaders in this area on our team, but Jacoby is certainly one of them.
Okay, we'll go Joel Erickson.
Frank, what about Ryan Kelly and his perspective in all this?
It's really important. It's just so important. I mean, Ryan, back in the spring when we were having these conversations, and when he speaks up and tells everybody, about his dad's a police officer, I mean, you can imagine. I mean, when in a Zoom room where the meeting discussion was, on police brutality against the Black community, where a large part of it was that discussion, when all of a sudden one of your players, one of the guys you love and respect, says, well, my dad's a police officer, that's a whole different perspective to the conversation. And, I was really, the way our team handled that was the way it should be handled: respect, listening, and it was a two-way street. And it really requires a maturity, that's beyond your years, to hang with it and to really get deeper into the discussion. And I think both Ryan and and the whole team has done a great job of that.
Rich Nye.
Coach, as a former player and with your history in athletics, can you compare this to any other time in our history, or is this unprecedented with athletes in every sport using their platform in this kind of way?
In some ways, I think it's unprecedented, but in other ways, I think there's this fight has been going on a long time, and people have expressed that, and athletes have expressed that in different ways over the years. But each era produces its own challenges and its own unique challenges, and then its own little emphasis within the bigger fight against systemic racism. There at the bigger level, then at the macro level, then there's the more micro level of smaller fights within it and emphasis in it. So I think each era kind of has been unique in that regard. And but in some way there's some challenges that I think the players are faced with, and that we all are faced with, as far as how do we work together to really try to create something where we can have lasting change.
Kevin Bowen.
Frank, did the players come to you and say they didn't want to practice yesterday morning, or how did that play out?
Yeah, 2 nights ago, our committee of 9 players called a meeting with me. They asked me to come in, and they laid out a very clear vision and said what they had been talking about, said what they wanted to do, and they did it. When I tell you, you should write a textbook on it, you really should have wrote a textbook on how they handled it. I really wish the whole world could have been in that meeting just to hear the level of depth of every individual. When I sat down, we all sat in a circle, and of course, Jacoby started out and spoke with conviction and passion about the issue. And I just listened, and I didn't say a word. And then every man, all 9 of them, and it wasn't orchestrated, it wasn't planned out. I just listened, and they all spoke with deep conviction, clear vision, and understanding of a process of what it would take, and said, Coach, this is, it was a double-edged sword. I mean, they were kind of saying, hey, we'd really love for you to sign off on this, but at the same time, this is what we're going to do. I mean, it was very respectful, but it was also very strong conviction.
And just one quick
Mind
follow-up,
me
how
asking?
does your leadership committee get picked, and like, what is that process like?
That particular committee?
Yeah, I guess, is that different from your leadership committee, or?
Yeah. Well, you guys know, David Thornton is one of the true leaders of this organization, and he's really he really is behind the scenes in so many ways of orchestrating and keeping us together and focused and bringing every side of the building together, helping everybody understand things. And so, DT was really the one who I think spearheaded, putting this committee together along with the players. And the 9 guys who are in there are just top notch.
George Bremer.
Coach, you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with Ryan Kelly, and Jacoby said that it was sort of the case. But have you seen the locker room get even maybe closer through all of this on a human level? I mean, I know that they have a lot of football conversations, but between what happened over the summer and then what's gone on this week, it seems a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, I really believe that is happening. I think it's hard not to happen, when you have shared hardships and when they really truly are shared. And I think that's what a lot of our meetings were about. We're understanding, the battle better. And I think as we all have gained a better understanding of the fight, I think it's drawn us together in ways. And, I just think it's just starting, though. I mean, I just think it's just starting. The chemistry, the fight, as you've heard from the players today, this is a long-term vision. This is a long-term vision. And so there's a very detailed plan for the 2020 season, but that's just the beginning. And because we know that's what it takes.
Okay, 3 more. Phil B.
Hey, Coach. Thank you for your time. Football question for you. Wondered if you could share any information on Paris and the unfortunate thing that happened to him. It seemed encouraging that he was at least out there watching today. And then Zach Pascal.
Yeah, Paris was in a minor car accident. I don't know if I want to say minor. If you looked at his car, you wouldn't say it was minor. But he's going to be fine. Was encouraged that he was out there today. Certainly, you get in an accident like that and your car looks like that, I'm sure shakes you up a little bit. But Paris will be fine. Just kind of going through the protocol, and was glad to have him out there today.
And Zach Pascal. Sorry.
And Zach Pascal, yeah. Just Zach's gonna be fine. He'll be back out there soon. Just dealing with a hamstring a little bit, but it's nothing too bad.
Thank you, Coach.
You got
Andrew Walker.
Hey, Coach. I remember after last season, Chris and you had talked about trying to add more healthy tension, if that makes sense. Why was that an emphasis to you, one? And Is a guy like Xavier Rhodes a good example of a guy that brings that, a new guy to the team that brings that? Just seems like he's always chirping out there. He doesn't really back down to anyone.
Yeah, Xavier's a good example of that. Phillips another good example of, bringing an outside guy in. But we already had it internally as well, but it's been good. Those guys have certainly brought that. I think the healthy tension is everyone will tell you, you watch great sports teams over the years, the teams that win championships and the teams that are the best teams. And there's always a locker room leadership accountability aspect to it, guys. Coaches can only take the team so far, and it really takes player leadership to have accountability go to another level. And that's needed because this is a player's game, and coaches play an important role, and we have to demand high standards and we have to hold players accountable. But it's when the locker room really embraces that you really get something special. So we have a bunch of strong guys like that that are here at the right time.
All right, and last one, Mike Chappell.
Coach, is there any update on Julian Blackmon? I think Chris has mentioned that you might activate him. Where is he on his rehab?
Getting closer. Getting closer. I know he's anxious to get back out there. But when you got a guy you just drafted, a young guy, you don't want to be over eager to get him out there. I mean, you get a guy this young and it heals this fast and is this strong. You could we could push him out there and he could be ready and he could do it. But we got to be smart. This is for the long haul. He's a rookie. He's had no off season with us. So I think, whatever the process is and where he is in the process, we're just being very disciplined, not to push him too soon. And, that's hard to do because we even in a little bit that we see of him and even in his rehab, you can and when you talk to him, you get a sense that this guy's going to be a really, really good player. But we got to stay disciplined in our approach.
With the way that IR works, you wouldn't put him in IR in camp. You'll lose him. So activate him and then maybe IR when the season starts. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we're still talking through that with Chris, what the exact plan will be. And there's no sense. One of the things you learn right in this business is, you can start mapping those things out, but until it gets to crunch time, it really doesn't make too much sense to, determine it. You think through it, you plan through it, but then you wait and act at the right time.